Welcome to Keto Life Support, where we make your keto life sustainable, fun, and low stress. I'm Kim Howerton, and I'll be coming to you weekly with some of my keto besties to bring you the practical, real-world keto advice that you need. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, and even if we do have a doctor in the house from time to time, he or she is not your doctor, and nothing we say on this show should be taken as medical advice. Always check in with a trusted medical professional about your own personal medical concerns.
Hello and welcome to Keto Life Support. This is Kim Howerton and this is episode 105. And I'm just coming back from Keto Salt Lake, which is a conference put on every year by Keto Chow by Chris and Miriam Bair, B-A-I-R, who are amazing. And I don't know if you know whether or not you use Keto Chow or use any shakes, that aside, whether you're into the product itself. I just want to say that Chris and Miriam are such wonderful people and such amazing support to the keto community. They give super generously to make sure that everyone gets what they need, including putting their conference online for free and doing a lot of work to make all of this happen. And that's not to say their product isn't great. It is actually a wonderful product. I love Keto Chow. It's super useful. I tend to bake with it more than I make shakes with it just because I'm not so much of a shake fan. I mean, sometimes, but not as much. But they've got so many good uses for those mixes in baking, in my opinion. Anyway, but I like to use things off-label. But I just wanted to say, even completely separate from that, they are just such good people, and I am thrilled to be able to call them friends. And I thought I would tell you some thoughts I had coming out of the conference. Now, I'm not going to share about everyone's talk because honestly, that would just be too much, and I want to just give you kind of an overview, but I'm going to give you a quick list. There was Dave Feldman. He's the cholesterol dude. He's awesome and a good friend. Brian Lenskis, a doctor from San Diego, gave kind of his personal story around some health problems he was suffering from and had to look into. Then there was me, and I talked about long-term fat loss success and succeeding. Cynthia Turlow, can I just say this woman has the best dresses? Every time I'm like, that is an awesome dress. Anyway, not what she's most known for, but very fashionable. And she talked about why women need to fast differently than men. Bronson Dant, an awesome guy, talked about sort of the benefits of getting healthy apart from your body size. He is somebody who combines weightlifting and performance with the ketogenic or the carnivore diet. Nurse Cindy, obviously one of my besties, talked about our gut health. Dr. Ron Rigby talked about metabolic syndrome. Donald Vega, who's from, I can't remember. I think he's from Costa Rica. He is very tall and very lean and very buff, and he speaks with this wonderful accent. And so if you're looking for a Spanish speaker, he is there for you. He talked about mindset. We've got Eric Westman, the OG. He talked about the keto lifestyle. Joe and Rachel Stauffer or is it Saffer? You guys, I don't remember. I always just call you Joe and Rachel. They're the two crazy ketos. I feel bad. When you know somebody for a while and then you think, am I saying that name right? Anyway, they're awesome, like truly awesome people. They were the MCs of the event. Amy Berger was there and she talked about a bunch of neurodegenerative conditions, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, to name a few. We had Ben Azadi talked about sort of the benefits of ketosis is how I'd sum it up. David Harper from Canada talked about ketogenic nutrition in cancer, related to intervention for cancer. Dr. Peter Ballerstedt talked about agronomy, which is a science and technology about plants, how they relate to animal feed. And it's very hard to sum up Peter, but he is amazing. He's both a really dynamic speaker. He gets you to care about both your health and the environment. So you have to watch it to really get to the bottom of it, but definitely talked about how improving your health is going to improve the world as well. Then we had Abby from House of Keto. She had a very specific talk about food addiction using biblical principles. So if you're into biblical principles, that might be for you. Mark Cucuzella, who I love his last name, he's this funny man. I love him. He is an MD. He practices at a small hospital in, I believe, West Virginia. And he talked about bringing this work into the hospital setting. He's amazing. Autumn Weathers talked about getting back on track after weight regain. Autumn is awesome. I got to meet her for the first time and we spent some time together and I love her. Her husband is hilarious. And Ken Berry, no one knows that man. I don't know why they keep inviting him into things, but if he keeps trying, I'm sure some people will start following him. That was sarcasm, people. Anyway, so those were all the speakers, and it was super fun to connect with everybody. Honestly, had a really, really good time. I also met Bronson's girlfriend, who is a competitive bodybuilder. I don't even know if that's the right term. Like, I don't know if she's bodybuilder or bikini, but she's very buff and awesome and has a great attitude and is also a coach. So, you sometimes you get to meet not just the other speakers, but people that are with them or people that are coming to the conference. So my topic specifically was about the struggle of losing weight, not just for keto, but for any kind of weight loss. And I'll be going more into the details in further episodes. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight, and I saw at the conference, and I'm not going to pick on any person because we're all these people, right? We all struggle with these same things, but what was brought home to me in my conversations with people at the conference was the stress of weight regain, the real challenge of keeping the weight off. And so many people, their stories were about regain, about they were doing great, they were losing weight, they maybe got to where they wanted to be, or they got a long way towards where they wanted to be, and then just something happened. Whether it was life stress, whether it was the pandemic, whether it was deaths in the family, whether it was just a lot of stress just in their life in general, or just what I like to call the drift, where they're like, yeah, it's good, I'm doing great. Oh yeah, I put on a little weight, but it's no big deal. It's just a little bit. And little by little by little, you're suddenly like, well, heck, I'm up 40 pounds. How did that I didn't even notice that happening until it did. And one of the things I talked about in my presentation was how to maintain your weight loss. And one of the things I started thinking about that I need to talk about more is that it doesn't really matter if you lose the weight. It matters that you keep the weight off. And I know weight is not the only thing that matters, but to a lot of you, myself included, the weight does matter. So there is an advantage to losing the weight, even if you gain it back, in that at least you've shown yourself you can do it once. But I think all things being equal, you're almost better off not losing the weight at all than to losing the weight and putting it back on, because I find that is so demoralizing. Now, is that to suggest you shouldn't try to take the weight off? No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just got reminded of a Mitch Hedberg joke. Do you guys know Mitch Hedberg? He's sadly passed away, but he had this joke like, I don't remember the context, but he was like, don't eat the apple because eventually you'll have a core, right? You can't look at only the downside. You have to look at the upside, but I digress. But one of the things that's really come home to me in my experience and also in my studies is the importance of small bites. I don't mean physically biting things. I mean like small goals that you're able to tackle, and then you're able to maintain that. You're able to do one thing, really lock it in, lock the habits in, lock the mindset in, get really strong there, and then continue, make a new goal. So these bite-sized little chunks of goals along the way, giving yourself breaks in between, time to experience true maintenance, a true period of really locking in those behaviors, settling into that, So this is now your new normal. What I see so often is people in a real big hurry to get the weight off, and I get it. Sometimes it feels like you're wrapped up in the most itchy, uncomfortable blanket ever, and you just want to get it off. I'm allergic to wool, so I always feel like it's this feeling of having a wool sweater on where you just feel like you have hives all over your body just from having it on. You want to get it off, get it off, get it off, get it off, right? And that's the way you feel about the weight. And so all your focus is on just getting that weight off. But so often, if we don't go slow enough to relearn our habits and our patterns and learn how to be the different person that we're becoming, we are super vulnerable to that weight regain. And the thing that I'm really seeing every time I interact with people in the keto community is how toxic that weight regain can be, how overwhelming it can feel to who've regained the weight. And I'm just really developing the thought that you're better off with almost any outcome than weight regain. And I'm not saying this to, shake my finger or say, you did it wrong if you did regain the weight. It has happened. It is in the past. But you can't keep doing that. You can't keep yo-yoing. You can't keep going back and forth. You have to figure out how to make sustainable, lifelong changes. So anyway, if you want to see more of my talk and any of these other talks, they are all available online at Keto Chow's YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the notes. Currently, as I'm recording this, they have the live stream so you can watch segments of the conference, but they're in the process of breaking that up into individual talks. But if I'm going to get you to the general right place and you can search from there. So hopefully that is helpful for you. They do also have the slides available at lowcarbevents.com/event, low carb Keto Salt Lake. If you go to just Google, I'll put a link. Let's do that. I'll put a link in the notes as well. And so if you wanted to get copies of any of the slides that were shown, almost all the presenters gave their slides so that they could be given to you guys. So you can see those online as well, because there might be something that someone is talking about that you think, oh, that's really interesting. I want a picture of that particular slide or that study to get a closer look at that. And so I'll put that link as well. So thanks for joining me on this little review of Keto Salt Lake. And hopefully that was a nice little informational piece so that you can hear more about what happened at that conference. In the next few weeks, I am off to Metabolic Health Summit, where I'm not speaking, I am attending, and then I'll be speaking on the low carb cruise right after that. So here's hoping those are both as sunny and beautiful as I am hoping, because I'm going to use them as a vacay/educational experience. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Keto Life Support. Want more information? Want show notes? Want to suggest a topic? Just head over to ketolifesupport.com. That's where all that kind of thing can go on. By the way, I have a request. If you could go to your podcast host and hit subscribe, we would really, really appreciate it. And what would be even more awesome is if you could write a review. And what would be even more awesome than that is if you could write like a really flattering review. Just asking, you do you. All right. So thanks so much for joining us. I'm thrilled that you're part of the Keto fam. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.